Look at what is sitting on your screen right now. An ordinary white stone, pulled straight from a creek bed by someone who almost tossed it back. It looks like nothing special, pale and dull, the kind of rock most people step over on a hike without breaking stride. Yet stone for stone, gram for gram, this quiet little rock can already be worth more than the same weight in solid gold. That single fact changes the entire way you should be looking at the ground under your feet from this point forward. Most people spend their whole lives associating wealth with shiny yellow metal, never once stopping to wonder whether the pale rocks scattered around them might already be worth more. Gold gets all the attention because everyone already knows its price, yet plenty of ordinary-looking white stones quietly outvalue it once you know what you are actually holding. That gap in knowledge is exactly what keeps this kind of material sitting ignored on the ground. Every stone covered today already exists in nature, at documented public sites you can actually visit and search yourself. Stick around to the end because there is one bonus white stone waiting in the final minutes that most hunters never even think to look for. Start with the most common one, the stone almost everyone already owns without realizing it. Clear or milky quartz crystal, pulled straight from the ground. Quartz itself is not rare at all, since it makes up a huge share of the rock under your feet in nearly every state. What matters here is the difference between the dull gray pebbles littering a gravel driveway and a genuine terminated crystal formed slowly inside an open pocket underground. That formation process can take thousands of years, with mineral-rich water depositing silica in thin layers inside a cavity that stays sealed from the outside world. A true crystal grows its own natural faces and comes to a sharp point, instead of showing the rounded, broken look of ordinary tumbled gravel. Clean, well-formed crystal points with strong clarity sell by weight to collectors and jewelry cutters, and even modest specimens routinely beat gold on a gram-for-gram basis. A single fist-sized cluster of clear points, properly formed and undamaged, can already outprice the same weight in gold bullion. Gold only has one value everywhere in the world, while a beautiful natural crystal carries collector demand on top of its raw material worth. Right now, gold sits around $140 per gram, and a modest gram of clean, faceted quartz jewelry material can already match or beat that number. New York rockhounds know a special variety too, small double-terminated crystals nicknamed Herkimer diamonds, after the town of Herkimer where they are famously collected. Those little crystals grow inside dolomite rock rather than a granite vein, forming a point on both ends with no cutting or polishing required. Several commercial mines around Herkimer let visitors pay a fee to dig their own pockets, cracking open dolomite seams by hand with a hammer and chisel. The best specimens sell to collectors at a real premium over ordinary single-pointed quartz from anywhere else. The single most famous digging spot in the country sits around Mount Ida and Hot Springs in Arkansas, inside the Ouachita Mountains. That region holds an enormous concentration of quartz veins, and several commercial sites let visitors pay a small fee and keep everything they pull out themselves. The crystals form inside narrow veins running through much older sedimentary rock, pushed up and cracked open by ancient forces deep underground. Vein quartz typically grows in clusters, meaning one good pocket can hand you dozens of individual points in a single afternoon. Look for areas where the surrounding rock shows a rusty orange staining, since that iron discoloration often marks the exact seams where quartz veins run. Work slowly with a chisel rather than swinging blindly, since a careless strike shatters points that could otherwise sell whole. Local dealers around Mount Ida buy clean crystal by the pound, and roadside rock shops throughout the area will give you an honest, on-the-spot valuation of anything you bring in. Selling directly to a cutter or collector rather than a bulk dealer usually earns considerably more, since they pay for the actual beauty of a piece rather than raw tonnage alone. Demand for well-formed clusters spikes around the holiday season when jewelry cutters restock ahead of busy retail months, so timing a sale matters. A quick way to judge quality is holding the crystal up to a bright window and checking for internal clarity rather than a milky, clouded interior. Milky material still has value in bulk, but transparent, gem-clear points with sharp natural faces are what push the price up toward and past gold. A few simple tests separate real quartz from plain glass or plastic. Quartz scratches ordinary window glass with ease, while glass never scratches quartz back, making this the fastest field test you can run. Real crystal also feels noticeably cool against your skin for a moment longer than glass or plastic, a small but reliable clue that comes down to how each material conducts heat away from your fingertips. Look closely at the base of any crystal you find, since natural points often carry small parallel growth lines running sideways across each face. Those striations form as the crystal grows layer by layer over time, and no cheap imitation fakes them convincingly. Molded glass imitations show smooth, seamless surfaces with none of that natural texture, along with a telltale mold seam running down one side. Fill in any hole you dig, and never work on private ground without clear permission first. A folding shovel, a small rock hammer, and a simple screen for sifting loose gravel are really all the equipment most beginners ever need. A recent rain actually helps here, since it rinses dust off buried crystals and lets sunlight catch their faces long before you reach down to pick them up. Before the second stone, something worth mentioning that goes beyond what fits into a single video. Every month inside the members area, one specific gem gets a proper deep dive from start to finish. Real identification steps, hands-on testing, and fresh site guides scouted and confirmed before they ever appear in a public video. The join button on your screen gets you into that community today. The second stone on this list looks almost identical to quartz at first glance, and that resemblance is exactly why most people walk straight past it. White topaz is the clear or pale variety of the same mineral family that produces the blue and golden stones sold in jewelry stores. It forms inside gas pockets within certain types of volcanic rock called rhyolite, a completely different setting from most quartz. Utah officially named topaz its state gem for exactly this reason, since the Thomas Range has produced collectible material there for well over a century. Early prospectors working those washes originally searched for entirely different minerals, and only decades later did anyone grasp just how valuable the pale crystals scattered around them actually were. Topaz is noticeably harder and heavier than quartz, and once you learn to feel that extra weight in your hand, the two stop feeling anywhere near the same. A pocket scale helps here, since topaz consistently reads denser than a quartz crystal of the exact same visible size sitting right beside it. Topaz also breaks along one flat, glassy plane, rather than fracturing unevenly the way quartz does when it chips. That flat break, called cleavage, counts as a real weakness worth remembering, since a hard drop can split a crystal cleanly in half. Genuine topaz also carries a noticeably brighter, glassier shine than quartz once both stones catch direct sunlight side by side. That extra brilliance comes from a higher refractive index inside the crystal, meaning light bends more sharply as it passes through and back out. Topaz crystals also often show a distinctive elongated prismatic shape, with flat sides meeting at consistent angles, unlike the more varied and irregular forms common in quartz. The best-known public site for this stone sits at Topaz Mountain, out in the remote Thomas Range of western Utah. That whole mountain is public land managed by the federal government, and visitors are free to search the washes and slopes with nothing more than basic hand tools. The crystals form with a natural amber or sherry tone and only turn clear after long exposure to direct sunlight, so the loose, sun-bleached crystals scattered across the washes are exactly the white topaz you are hunting for. Search the open gravel washes on the southern slope first, since loose crystals wash downhill out of the rhyolite and collect there without any digging required. For crystals still locked inside solid rock, look for narrow cavities within the pale volcanic stone and work them open carefully with a small chisel. Bring plenty of water and sun protection, since the site sits in a remote desert with no services anywhere nearby. A simple ultraviolet flashlight makes this hunt considerably easier once the sun goes down and the desert cools off. Many topaz crystals glow faintly under shortwave ultraviolet light. Local rock shops in nearby towns sell maps and updated access information, and chatting with other hunters on site tends to reveal fresh, productive spots quickly. Keep a small notebook of exactly where your best finds turned up, since good producing washes tend to keep producing on future visits. A specific gravity test using a kitchen scale and a cup of water can confirm density at home with real accuracy in only a few minutes. The third stone has a completely different kind of beauty that neither quartz nor topaz can match. Moonstone is a variety of feldspar, and its defining trait is a soft, floating glow of blue-white light that seems to hover just beneath the surface. That glow has a physical cause, coming from thin, alternating internal layers that scatter light as it passes through the crystal. The effect is called adularescence, and it only shows up strongly in stones with the right internal layering, formed through a slow and specific cooling process underground. Not every piece of white feldspar you dig up will show this glow, and telling plain material from the good stuff takes practice. Turn any candidate slowly in direct sunlight through a full rotation while watching the surface for that floating light. Ordinary feldspar reflects flat, even light no matter how you turn it, while true moonstone answers back with a soft blue sheen that seems to move beneath the surface. In this country, moonstone mainly turns up inside granite pegmatites, the coarse, large crystalled rock that also produces tourmaline and aquamarine. Virginia stands out as the strongest state for it, with pegmatites scattered across the Piedmont region from Amelia County through several nearby counties. Material there tends to run white to pale gray, and a fair amount of digging through ordinary feldspar is usually needed before you find pieces with visible sheen. New Mexico offers another solid option, particularly around the Gemstones Mountains, where similar pegmatite bodies have produced collectible material for decades. For a more reliable and accessible option, a dedicated site called the Wisconsin Moonstone Field has opened specifically for public digging, where visitors consistently walk away with real material after just a few hours of searching. The field was set up for exactly that kind of guided searching, which makes it a genuinely welcoming place to start before heading out to search wild pegmatites on your own. To test a candidate piece, rotate it slowly under a bright light and watch for that floating blue-white glow moving across the surface. If the stone stays flat and lifeless no matter how you turn it, you are likely holding ordinary feldspar. Fine moonstone with strong, even blue glow and good transparency easily clears gold on a per-gram basis once you find pieces with real quality. Cutters prefer material shaped into a smooth dome rather than a flat facet, since that rounded cut is exactly what makes the internal glow move and shift as light hits the surface. A stone with even, centered adularescence across the whole dome commands considerably more than one where the glow only shows up along a narrow edge. Gently wetting a rough piece in the field is a quick way to reveal sheen hiding under a layer of dust and grime. Compare several candidates side by side whenever possible, since the human eye gets noticeably better at spotting real adularescence once it has something dull sitting next to it. Now for the bonus stone, and this one sits in an entirely different league from the three just covered. Diamond forms far deeper underground than any of them, crystallizing under pressure so extreme that almost nowhere near the surface can reproduce it. It only reaches us through rare, violent volcanic pipes that punch straight up from the mantle, dragging diamonds along for the ride. Geologists call that host rock lamproite in this particular location, a close cousin of the kimberlite that carries most of the world's diamonds elsewhere. Over countless centuries, weather slowly broke that volcanic rock down into the soft, crumbly soil that visitors dig through today. In this country, there is exactly one place where the general public can dig for real diamonds and legally keep whatever they find. Crater of Diamonds State Park in Arkansas sits on the eroded surface of an ancient volcanic pipe, plowed regularly so that fresh material keeps working its way up toward the surface. The park has produced new finds every single week for well over a century without ever running dry. Visitors search the plowed field by eye first, looking for a stone with a bright, greasy shine that stands out from the dull, matte soil around it. Rough diamonds often show natural rounded faces rather than sharp edges, and they scratch glass with ease when nothing else nearby comes close to doing the same. Water simply beads up and rolls off a diamond's greasy surface, so a genuine find stays completely dry-looking even when everything around it is wet. That wet test has actually helped several visitors confirm a real find right there in the middle of the field. Screening and washing gravel through the on-site facilities concentrates the heavier material, since diamond is considerably denser than nearly everything else in that soil. Be realistic about the odds before you go. The park documents around 400 diamond finds across the whole field in an average year among many thousands of visitors. Most of those finds are small, and a genuinely large stone remains a rare event. Rain works in your favor out there, since a hard shower washes loose soil away and leaves heavier stones sitting exposed on the surface. Park staff will identify and register any diamond you find for free, confirming exactly what you are holding before you ever leave the property. The single largest diamond ever found in this entire country came out of this exact field back in 1924, a stone nicknamed Uncle Sam that weighed well over 40 carats in the rough. That stone eventually made its way into the Smithsonian, proof that a genuinely historic find can turn up in a plowed public field open to anyone willing to look. Even a small rough diamond from that field carries real market value once cut, and it doubles as one of the most memorable finds any casual weekend hunter could ever bring home. Every one of these 4 stones proves the same point. Real value hides in plain, unremarkable-looking rock far more often than most people stop to consider. None of these stones require a mine, heavy equipment, or an experienced crew. Keep any promising finds sorted by type as you go, since mixing genuine crystals with plain gravel makes sorting back home far more tedious than it needs to be. A small labeled bag for each location helps enormously, especially across several different sites over a season. Writing the exact spot and date on each label also helps if you ever decide to sell, since buyers pay closer attention to material with a clear, documented origin. If you want to go deeper than any video can cover, there is an ebook linked in the description below this video. It covers simple tests for hardness, density, and shine using basic tools most people already own. It is built so that someone with no background at all can pick up a strange stone and work out what it really is on their own. You can find that ebook linked in the description right below this video, and it is there whenever you feel ready to take this further. If now is not the time for that, there is no problem at all, since you can keep learning here for free by subscribing to the channel. Leave a like if this helped you out today, and then watch the next video that is already waiting for you there on your screen. In it, I go through another stone that most people walk straight past in the field without ever knowing what it was really worth. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Good luck, Gem Hunter!